working with Adobe Creative Cloud Express, start with the Heathcote Gateway and go to your particular grade to find the login instructions. You will see that Adobe Creative Cloud Express, formerly Spark, has very specific login instructions. Click on the link, launches it in a new tab. I'm going to sign in. We are not using our Google account, so we can close that out. We are using the I'm a teacher, I'm a student side. As a teacher, I would click on I'm a teacher. Any Scarsdale teacher can click on that and log in. Any Scarsdale student would click I'm a student and log in. Click I'm a teacher. You already have access. You already have it with your school email. Our school emails are linked with Adobe. They are already created even if you have not signed in yet. So you click sign in with school email. When this comes up, you enter your full and complete Scarsdale email address, including the @scarsdaleschools.org. Press continue. And when it loads, it will redirect you to a Scarsdale Schools Azure login screen, such as this. Enter your email and password, click sign in. Takes a second to load, brings you to your dashboard. On your dashboard, you have many different options. Over here on the left side, you can see previous projects. And so on the dashboard, presentation is like a Google slide presentation. A slideshow is the video component. So if you click that to add, it'll take a second to load. It'll ask you what your story name is, what your title is. So you'll name it your project name. I might do this as Adobe Demo. And click next. It's going to give you a number of templates to choose from. These templates essentially just would outline the different elements of a story that you're going to tell. For our purposes, we're just going to start from scratch because this may be based on a social studies assignment, an English assignment, some different things that have different curriculum-based connections or different requirements from the teacher. It will always take a little bit to load, which is fine. This part is normal. I include this in my teaching and my tutorials to let everyone know that it does take a few seconds to load. So this is the interface. You have right here in the center your main slide where you can add those 4 components. Down here across the bottom, you have your slides, sort of like your slide sorter, much like you would have on your left side in Google Slides or PowerPoint. You can add elements just by clicking on one of these elements. So if I want to add a photo, click photo. On the right-hand side, I can use stock photo. I can upload from my computer, or these 3 dots would allow me to connect to different services, Drive, Dropbox, things of that nature. I can just search for stock photo, and if I do school, I can see that there's different pictures that represent school. I'll choose this one. It will put it in automatically. It takes a second to process, and it will get sharper as it comes in. All of the Adobe photos are high-res photos. So this is in here. You notice it's the background. If I wanted to, I could click the plus again to add text. If I wanted to put my title over top of it. So now my first slide has my title and my text. You will get these periodic pop-ups that will help you, walk you through it. And what that's saying is you can drag the text around. You notice it snaps back to certain points. What Adobe does is Adobe wants you to have it looking good. So Adobe limits where you can put it. It essentially has margins that it forces you to put it in. It'll let you put it there even though it's over the image because it's more about being centered. They don't want it to be sort of randomly placed. It's either going to be in a corner, whether it be top or bottom, and it's not going to go off the edge of the screen, or it's going to be centered, either middle centered, left centered, or right centered, and it will snap it to that position. And that's the middle center. What you can also do is if you just click on the picture, you'll notice there's a pencil up here. Anytime you click on a picture and you click the pencil, it'll basically give you 2 choices, zoom in or pull out. So if you go in, you can get closer on that image, and once you do, you can actually, with this hand, just pick it up and move it around if you felt like it. If you wanted to get rid of all of the books, you would do that. There's no crop feature for the images, but the zoom essentially works in a similar fashion where you can adjust how much of the image you see. And you can even go further out, and then will just be a background of whatever color your default template is or your theme. So if I just bring this back in, so it just covers the slide, that's kind of its normal natural size. I've got my title right in the center, and it's lined up, so I'm ready for my next one. So I want to make a new slide. I can just click the plus button. It makes a new slide. Let's say I don't want to have a big sort of title slide like that for this one. I want to have compare contrast. So on the right hand side, I can go split screen, and I can add any element to either side. So if I want text on this side, I just choose text, choose split screen. Then this side, I can add a photo, and we'll just add another school photo, and it puts it there. Now, if you notice, look at that image. There's more of this image that is seen in the full image than is seen on this side. So similarly, just click on the image, click the pencil. I have the ability to then pull out, zoom in. I can also pick it up and adjust the placement depending on where I want it to be and how it's centered. I can also, using this button in the middle, change the sides, meaning it'll move the image to one side, put the text on the other. You'll notice that when it does that, it actually changes the background. And I'll get to a minute of that I'll get to that in a minute when it comes to working with the theme. What's really nice too about Adobe is if I come back over here to my title and I realize that I accidentally didn't have the right one where I want to have my name, my author name, my byline, whatever you want to call it on the slide, I don't have to delete it and start over. Over here on the side, I would just choose under layout, title and text. And what it will do is it'll keep the image there. It'll keep my title there. It'll just resize it and then give me a separate box. So I'm going to add my text, and I put it there like that. And if I wanted to change it to the caption one, it will do that. It eliminates the byline because it basically takes what was the full screen main title and makes that the caption. But what's great is about Adobe is it remembers that I had the caption there or that I had the subtitle there. And if I just click title and text, it will come right back. So same thing with split screen. I can do this. I lose that text, which was the Mr. Casal, but if I come back to title and text, it will reappear. So it's nice that you can change between your layouts without having to recreate the slide. And I'll do one more. And for this one, we will choose a caption. And you notice as I choose these different things, it automatically adjusts the number of plus buttons. So obviously a background, video, or photo, your title, your text. If I go to caption, it's going to change the number of plus buttons. Essentially now it's just one photo, one body of text. Same thing with split screen. I just get the button on either side. And if I add something to one side, it will minimize or eliminate some of my options on the other. But it's nice that I can easily flip around between the different layouts to try different looks. So if I choose a photo, choose this school picture that's there, do the plus, and I just write students. And then it'll automatically resize it. Now similarly, you could pick it up and move it, but you notice it snaps back, much like the full screen text box. If I wanted to put the caption over here, I can. I can put it over there. It will block things in a photo, but it just won't let it go off the edge of the slide. So it won't let you put it up against the margin. It wants to make sure that it can be read and it doesn't get cut off depending on what screen you're on. And then it'll just be a decision as you're creating about what's the right photo to use, what's the right text, where to place it. If you click back on it, you can raise and lower the font size. You can edit this for proper capitalization, things of that nature. And again, if I go back to split screen, it'll just move that over to the other side. I can reverse it, have the students there. Now, when we talk about theme, I have mine set sort of as my brand, like sort of Heathcote, white, goldish, black, and the different setups. You can also change to their theme. So if I change to title, it will automatically change the fonts. It'll change the sizes, the color, the backgrounds, all of those things. Focus is a different one. There's all these different themes I can choose from. So if I want to go to Sage, I just click on it, and you can see some of them will line up the color directly with the image, or others, like title, will actually create a blank white bar in between the one side and the other. And even if I reverse it, you're still going to have that separation where it offsets the image with the text. Different themes have different versions of that. And you can just go through and choose whichever one you want. If I want to choose this one, Choose that was my original. What's also nice about these, if I come over here to, let's say, Mega, it gives you a baseline of the different fonts available or the different color schemes available. So if I don't like the green, but I like the fonts and I like how that looks, I could choose orange. That will then keep the font the same, but then it just adjusts so split screen is a slightly offset color. If I come back here to this green, it'll change the background on that just a little bit, or it'll change the font color. It'll change different things. What's also really nice about this is as I'm making these changes, it's updating the credits with the images that I use, any songs that I might use. So the music is up here in the top, and I have all these available songs. If I want to hear what it sounds like, all I have to do is just press play, and I can hear the song. That's Ukulele Stroll. If I want to choose it, I just press it so I get the check mark next to it. There's no way to edit the audio level like you would have in WeVideo or iMovie or Final Cut. So what you do is you actually just drop the volume of the music as opposed to adjusting a percentage on a waveform. And I could choose different things, and then as I choose them, they just get selected. And then now that is the audio that's attached to my project. If I want to hear the whole thing, I just press this button down here in the bottom left, goes full screen. It'll start playing it from the beginning. It automatically adds those transitions, those little animations. Those come with the theme. So as you change themes, it'll change the animation, it'll change those transitions. X that out, get back to the beginning. If I want to, and I want to see what just one slide looks like, I can click the play button on that one particular slide to just see how that one looks like. In addition, I can record audio. So right now, this is based on 4 seconds. Adobe does that automatically to let you know that it thinks that by the time you can read this with the animation and look at this photo, it's going to take about 4 seconds. I can click this and manually change the time to different seconds, or if I record a narration, I press and hold. It's going to ask me if you want to use a microphone. I'm going to allow that. Press and hold. It's going to start this countdown. And I can record a narration and say this is a split screen of a student at a desk. And then I let go. And you notice it gives you that little tutorial helper right there. If I press play, it's going to start this countdown. And I can record a narration and say this is a split screen of a student at a desk. And then what that does is it adjusts the time based on how long I spoke. I recommend that when you do this and when you press the record button, wait for it to go from 0 to 1 before you start speaking. And then wait for, as you finish speaking, wait for the counter to turn to the next second. That'll give you just a wee bit of silence sort of at the beginning and the end so that the animation won't cut off any of your recording. And again, it's important to note that you have to press and hold the record button and hold it the whole time to record. There's no way to edit the audio. You basically just record over it, and that's the only way to re-record it. There's no chopping up or editing of the waveform. You're just going to record over whatever you recorded. Then at the very end, you are going to download it. When you're finally done for everything, it'll take a little while to download and prepare it. What it's basically doing is it's processing all your audio recordings, it's processing all of the animations, the transitions, all of those things, and then it'll download it as a movie file, which you can then upload to Drive, you can put on YouTube, you can put it anywhere you like. Once it finishes processing, you get a pop-up, tells you it's ready, click download. It'll go to your local download folder, or if you're on a Chromebook, you could choose to save it directly to Drive. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped.